Hello my darlings, welcome to or welcome back to Marion K Tarot. This is going to be your week ahead reading for the 8th until the 14th of December. Wow, we're really getting through it, aren't we? And yes, I do have a little Christmas tree up. If you are watching along, following along on my Instagram, every day I am posting a new story where I have opened up my tarot advent calendar, and I'm revealing what little ornament I got. It's a fun wee thing and people are seeming to love it. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Marion K Tarot, and you just go to my stories and that's where I'm posting it every day. Okay, so back to this reading. This week I finally felt it was ready to dig out my Yuletide tarot by the amazing Kristoffer Hughes. If you don't know Kristoffer, please go and check him out online. He is incredible. He also very kindly wrote the foreword for the Grief Journey Oracle. So I absolutely adore him and I consider him a very dear friend. So we're going to break into this deck. Is it 2 years old? I think it's 2 years old now, but it's just one of those decks where it's not Christmas, it's Yule, but it's very inclusive. Okay, it's a mass market deck. You can get it fairly well in or wherever you get, like, decks, Amazon, etc. And I just love it. So let's see what energies have we got coming in just now. What can we look forward to this week? What do we need to think about this week? What should we try and avoid this week? We are still coming down off of the high that was the Gemini full moon. That was exact on Friday. So there's been a lot going on, a lot of shifts and turns, etc. going on in the sky. Let's see what we got. Okay. Right. Now, first of all, the card at the bottom of the deck is the Six of Candles, which in this deck, that is the Six of Wands, okay? So I absolutely love that as our base grounding energy for the week. It's about victory, it's about celebration, it's like, even if you just want to think to yourself, you know what, I'm getting through each day at work until the holidays. That is totally a victory, it's like, even if it's hour by hour, that's a victory as well, because sometimes you just need to break difficult things down to, even if it's minute by minute. There is sometimes in my life where I've had to literally break my day down to minutes, and like even just sitting watching the time turning, the minutes going past, and just breezing through it, and just realising that that's what I need to do, until you can count to 2 minutes and 3 minutes, and if that's how low you need to go to pull yourself up for whatever you've got going on, I just want to say keep going. Okay, so that is that. The reading proper we have got is, we've got the Ten of Gifts, which is the Ten of Pentacles. We have got the Seven of Canes, which is the Seven of Swords. And we have got Father Christmas, which is the Hermit in this. But Father Christmas takes over the place of the Hermit. So it's really lovely. Like I say, it's very inclusive. That's whatever your holiday beliefs are, etc. So Ten of Gifts, Ten of Pentacles, it's this time of year. It is, where we're thinking about our loved ones, we are meeting up with loved ones, whether that's your blood family or chosen family, it can be your friends, etc. There's so much going on at this time of year, and it's, what I would say is just enjoy it. If you are not in a position where circumstances are that it's difficult for you to enjoy this time of year, then I just want to say, that's valid as well. That's valid. If you're feeling like, you're kind of you're not the person in the Seven of Canes here. You know, you feel more a bit like the empty shelf, to be honest. And that's what this card speaks of. You know, it's how I read it is it's like this particular image, it's this person who's clearing the shelf and no leaving anything for anybody else. So if you're in the situation where you feel like nothing's been left for you, you know, then take heart, because I promise you there is people out there, you know, who will care. You know, small random acts of kindness happen every day. And sometimes it's just really shit as well, you know. It's like, is there any kindness? You know, have I been shown any kindness? Maybe no. You know, and I'm really sorry if that's your situation that you're facing. It's no nice. But I promise there will be somebody somewhere. You know, it's about doing things for yourself. Start off with being grateful, gratitude, and it's incredibly difficult if you're in a really hard time. But you know what? Here's the thing, right? I'm going to share this, right? When I have lost people in my life, okay, now whether it is through them passing away, whether it's them leaving my life, whether it's me having to leave, you know, a situation, a circumstance, whether it was a good thing, a bad thing, whatever, I tried my absolute best to find something to be grateful for. Even if it was the worst, shittiest thing that had ever happened to me, I tried to find something to be grateful for. And when my sister passed away, and this year will be the 19th Christmas that she's not been here, I always found gratitude in the fact that, okay, I don't have these 19 years, but I did have the 21 before it, you know. And even though it's heartbreaking sometimes that I don't have it, what heals my heart is knowing that I did. It's really painful sometimes, but I can feel that gratitude. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know why I wanted to share that, however. But yeah, this week, just when you feel like things are being stolen from you, find the gratitude. Okay, that's what I want to say. Moving on, we have got Father Christmas, right, as a hermit. So there might be times this week where you're feeling a bit alone. I keep getting that, you know, it's like this feeling that there's some people who are dreading the holidays because it's like, oh, well, I'm going to be alone, or, you know, it's like, do you have to pretend in your work? You know, do you have to pretend to your friends, you know, oh, it's a great time, oh, I'm having a really great time, oh, it's wonderful, oh, isn't it? And then it's like, and even like when you're in your place of work, you know, it's like maybe you're spending Christmas or the holidays on your own, and you might be feeling shame, you know, and feeling that you need to lie, you know, because everybody else is going on about, oh, well, this is what their holiday season is going to look like, you know, and maybe your holiday season is going to look like that, you know. But it's important to acknowledge that you're a person who deserves to have fun, you know, and it's like, don't feel the need to over explain things to people, you know, with the greatest will in the world, you know, they are probably being really nice, you know, and they're just caught up in their own excitement, you know, but it's like, you don't have to lie. You know, it's like you can just say, oh, yeah, I've got plans. And you have got plans, you know, but you just don't need to explain yourself. You know, it's like, oh, what are your plans? Oh, they're kind of liquid, you know, they're kind of just going with the flow and see where things take me. I've got some loose plans, that kind of thing, you know. Whereas, again, you're no lying. If that's something that really bothers you, you know, and feeling that you need to lie, remember, what you do is nobody else's business. Right? I mean, for all we know is you could go into the internet, or you could go into a shop and you could find somebody random, or you could be going and help my charity. You know, it's entirely up to you what you do with your holiday season. But it feels like this year that's what things are. You know, this week, sorry, that seems to be the energy, you know. It's like, and I'm talking to people more like who I might be wishing for past Christmases to be more present, you know, but at this time there is just energy that is in place, and this is a season. I want you to remember that, you know, that this is a season, and it's not forever. Okay. Right, my darling, so I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry it's a wee bit melancholy, but you know, sometimes the cards are just like that. Sometimes the messages come through and they're like that, you know, because it's like we get so much joy and consumerism flung down our throat at this time of year, you know. It's like where we have to, there's so much pressure, you know, there's so much pressure to have these perfect events, you know, and life isn't perfect, you know, life isn't like that. So, what am I going to, give me a second. In light of this, I was going to use another Oracle deck today, but the Grief Oracle just kept shouting at me, so, you know. So, let's see. Let's see what's coming out for us. Right, so we have got transition. Okay, so this week we have got transition. So it could be as simple as you're transitioning from like the working week, how you're supposed to, you know, work so many hours. It could be now that you're transitioning into holiday mode, you know, things are winding down in the office or your workplace, or maybe things are like ramping up if you work in hospitality and retail, you know. It's like, may the gods be ever in your favour, you know. It's like I see you, I recognise you, having worked in hospitality and pubs at the festive season. You know, the month of December is really just hell on earth. If you work in hospitality or retail. So, you know, it's like, yeah, I see you. But, you know, that transition period can also be from one stage of life to another stage of life. You know, it's like, maybe, you know what? Maybe last year, right, you went out and you partied and you did not realise it at the time, but that was the last year you were going to go out and get rat-arsed at the pub and go to the dancing, right? It was just a thing. I remember clearly I lived for Christmas Eve back in the day, and me and my friends, we would all go out and we would go to a pub, a local pub, because we were never going to Glasgow because it was a nightmare to try and go home. So it was like a local thing. So then we would go to like the local pubs, and then we would go to the local disco, like club, and it was like, then one year, and we didn't realise it at the time, but that was our last one. Because the following year, like, so many is like, our lives changed, you know. Some of us get married, some of us had kids, you know, and then it was just like, oh, we can't do that. And that's the thing, you know, and that's how I always say, you know, try your best to live in the moment, because you don't know when, you know, you're going to have your last Christmas Eve where the guys or the girls, you know, like out, you know, just clubbing and having fun, and you don't know when it's going to be like your last Christmas, maybe just with like you and your partner or you and your family, you know, it's like you just don't know. So this transition period, you know, if you're moving from one type of Christmas that you've always had into another type of holiday season, let this card acknowledge it. Okay? Right, my darlings. So I'm going to go, but before I do, I want to thank the incredible humans who came to my meditation class last week. It was amazing. I am so happy with the feedback. It was so much lovely feedback for people that attended, and going forward it will be a regular thing on a monthly basis. I don't know if it's going to be like a particular date of the month. You know me, I'm very random, so yeah. Okay, my darlings, right, lots of love, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.